Hi, my name is Alice Player. I'm here to share my story with you about domestic violence. It is real, trust me. I was married to a man that I thought was the best thing in the whole world. He swept me off my feet until after he put a ring on my finger. And then one night, he got cracked up. He put his hands around my throat and strangled me. And when he got me on the floor, I actually lost consciousness for, I guess, maybe 4 or 5 seconds. And I was frightened. He had started beating my head on the floor, and I had a stroke, a massive stroke. I ended up in a wheelchair for approximately 1.5 years. But it didn't stop there, because even with me in a wheelchair, he would grab me by the head of my hair and drag me. One night he was sitting in the bathroom doing his crack deal, smoking crack cocaine on the stool. I hadn't had anything to drink for quite a while, and I was really thirsty, so I dragged myself out of the bed. And I needed something to drink really bad. It'd been hours, and he's supposed to have been my caregiver. I got into the bathroom, and he was high, really high, and he started going off on me, and he was dressed in a woman's dress and heels, sitting on the stool, just smoking his crack on up. And he grabbed me by the head of my hair and dragged me back to the bed and pulled me into the bed, because I got one of the king high top beds, pulled me into the bed by the head of my hair. I sing nights that I actually would pray that I wouldn't wake up, because the fear is real. I had no one actually to turn to. He kept me away from everybody. He ran all my friends off, my family, and I had no one. I did reach out to Vivid Visions one time, because it got so bad that he literally chased me with a butcher knife, and they hid me for a weekend. This is my home. It's been my home for 30 years, and I was stupid enough to marry this man. Oh my God. Well, he'd been arrested 5 times for domestic violence. Florida's domestic violence doesn't go very far. Actually, they take it very lightly. He got angry with me because I didn't have $50 for him to finish off getting his 8-ball. And he virtually started trashing my house. He picked up a chair. As you can see, part of the chair is in the wall. He hit me with the chair. He fractured my ribs. This is amazing. He literally, when I ran to the bedroom to get away from this man, ripped my door, the whole frame off of there to get to me. When he got to me, he had me by every part that he could grab me by, brought me into the living room area. That's when he literally took this chair and started bashing me with it. He fractured my wrist and trashed my home. All right? This is one of many times I would lay in fear of this person. All right? When I would go up and I'd talk to the state attorney, well, there's not enough to charge him with or whatever, and finally, I got the nerve enough that I'd had enough. I started fighting to get back to myself. He had a church that he was playing Mr. Christian, and he would use that church to cover himself. Well, he was over a Celebrate Recovery program through that church while he was smoking crack cocaine and doing his own thing, dressing like a woman, etc. Well, the thing about it is he would come home after smoking crack cocaine and beat the holy hell out of me. I would reach out to them at the church, and they didn't believe me whatsoever. Uh, the last time that he was arrested, I was actually the one that made the report. I called, and it was supposed to have been under the table where you make a report, and it's not supposed to ever be told that you made the report, that he was going to go pick up drugs at the old gas station up by 90 and I-10. Well, I reported it because he made me take my bail money, my bail money, so he could get crack cocaine, because I had already been in the hospital for a week and a half, and he had drained a bank account, and I had not heard from him because he had been staying high. Well, when I come home, he slapped me around after I found the ride home. He wouldn't even come get me from the hospital. He slapped me so hard, he knocked me back into the freezer. Well, I'd had just about all I could take. So that night, I made a phone call. When I found out, I went to the bath. I told him I had to go to the bathroom, and we'd go up and get the $200 he needed for his drugs. So I made a phone call to 911 for them to go ahead and have somebody set up there. And they arrested him that night for crack cocaine. And they told him it was me, and I almost got beat to death over it, because they revealed that it was me that made that non-speech call that's supposed to not ever been said. Well, I had to be on my best behavior. About 6 months later in 2014, I think it was late 2014, I was sitting in my car lot, Players Auto, and I had a customer with a 2-year-old child. He literally, in front of this customer, told her he's going to cut my throat over a car. He wanted to charge $5,000 for a used car that was only worth $2,000, and she was a struggling mother, and I wasn't going to do that. And he stood there and right in front of her told her that he was going to cut my throat and that he would kill me that night. So, and I had bruises up and down my arms where he literally, after she left, he grabbed a hold of me and slung me into the wall in the office and everything. Well, she left and she called the police. The police came and they arrested him. State attorney promised me that they would take and charge him for felony domestic battery. Well, after I went and she told me if I testified against him that I would be protected, that he could never get to me again. Well, I testified, and they dropped the felony domestic battery. The state of Florida doesn't care what happens to the woman. I'm sorry, I'm telling you just the way it is. And I've heard some of these so-called friends say, well, if it'd been me, I would have took an iron skillet. If it'd been me, I would have took a ball bat. Well, when you're in a wheelchair for 2 years from where he'd already fractured your skull and you can't hardly move, and he takes you out there and he's supposed to be doing physical therapy with you and gets you into a swimming pool and tries to drown you, it's kind of hard to fight back. Take it now. I had to start fighting back myself to get myself where I could start walking again. And I did. And any woman, all I have to say to you is, please reach out to somebody. Get away from them, because they won't stop. They will keep coming at you, and they will get you eventually if you don't get out of this situation. And don't listen to these others that say, well, I would have done this, I would have done. They don't know what they would do unless they're in your shoes. And I hope no one has to deal with this, but it does exist. That's my story.
Thank you very much for coming out to share your story with us today. A question that I do have is, now that you're able to be away from your abuser, how do you feel now about it?
He just got out of prison.
Okay.
Okay, he just served 3.5 years for crack cocaine. All right, I have a lifetime restraining order, which is just a piece of paper. I still look over my shoulder. I still live in fear. I have a security alarm system. I have cameras everywhere. I pack a piece. I mean, because this man's a nutcase. He opened up the old car lot I had with a new wife, I guess, and they've been running their mouths in town saying, well, he never touched me, blah, 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 blah. I guess I beat myself where the police come out and took all these pictures and arrested him. That was all on me. I mean, to hear his new wife cited the story, but I just pray for her because she's the next one in line. I was the third one, and he had done this to the others. If she thinks she's obsolete, it's not. She will be the next one.
And also, what advice can you tell any other woman that is afraid to seek help, that what Vivid Visions can do for them?
Vivid Visions was really, really good to me because when I came in that one night, I think it was, God, I got a hold of Cindy, it was like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, that he literally had tore me up, and they took me in and they hid me and they protected me through the weekend until we figured out what to do. And then he ended up getting out of jail, and see, somebody says something about, well, why'd you take him back? They don't realize that he's coming back. He's always going to come back. No matter what, he's going to come back. That it's the way it works. And even with the lifetime restraining order and with him being married, I'm still leery and I'm still afraid. But I'm not going to let the fear of this man destroy me. Not no more. I can't. I can't live in fear like that no more.
And we thank you very much for opening up and sharing your story, being that you are a local survivor here in Suwannee County, and we're trying to make people more aware of what goes around here. So we really appreciate you coming out and sharing your story and letting everyone know that this is true and it does exist.